What is up, my casual film peeps? Warren here, and welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to talk about The Batman. Just watch the movie and I'm going to give you guys my honest thoughts. It's spoiler free, so there's nothing to worry about that. I'm not sure if I want to do a spoiler review though on this movie, but I think you guys should watch it regardless and make your own decisions, because this movie really is not for everyone. I can tell you that right now. And I'm going to do a little bit something different with this review, and that is I'm going to put the bad first, because I want to get the bad out of the way. There are some, I wouldn't say there's a lot of bad things about it. It's still a good movie overall. It's not a perfect movie. So let's get the bad out of the way. I think the number one reason why this film wasn't really high up there in my list of top comic book movies is that it's just way too long. If anything, you want a long comic book movie. Any superhero movie that you're a fan of, you would want to watch that the longest, with the longest runtime. You know, Infinity War is one of those movies, that kind of thing. We're going to be getting Doctor Strange 2 pretty soon here, and I'm hearing that's another long movie. I don't know if it's as long as this one. Nevertheless, you know, the longer the better tip, you know, technically is what we want. But in this case, unfortunately, I have to say it dragged, for me at least. The pacing could be a little tighter. I found myself not dozing off, but kind of like wandering a lot, because the scenes, there's some shots that were taken that were just way too long for me. Heck, even Batman, the way he moves, aside from fighting, aside from the action pieces, when he moves during the detective scenes, he moves so slow. It's kind of like, come on, man. I mean, like, it's that slow. Whether he moves his body or turns his head, it's so slow that I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, that's dragging too. For me, what kept it from being the best Batman movie is the runtime. The pacing was really off for me. The other elephant in the room, in a way, is the ending. For me, whenever I watch a TV show that I like or a movie that I'm excited about, I tend to be a little apprehensive. I try to temper my expectations, but I also try to temper my excitement. Sometimes you just can't help that, you know. I love the Batman. I love Superman. They were my two number one. They interchange sometimes depending on the movie, depending on the comic book, but they're both my best comic book heroes. Anytime there's a Batman movie, I look forward to it, right? And this is one of my most anticipated movies for 2022. So I was kind of expecting like all three acts would be like top notch. You know, it's not going to be perfect. I don't believe in a perfect movie anyway, but the first two acts were really good. I think I don't think they're a masterpiece like a lot of reviews were saying, but they're really good. And then the third act, I honestly don't know when the third act started. Sometimes you will be able to figure that out. It'll be pretty clear, I guess, because the tone kept changing, and then it just shifted to this weird, I don't want to spoil it, but it slowed down for me significantly. It's okay. It's an okay ending, but it was actually predictable and kind of anticlimactic. You know, it's kind of, like I said, it's hard to explain it without spoiling it. But in my opinion, yeah, this third act, man, it didn't really bring it home like I thought it would. And I don't know if that had anything to do with COVID or if it's always been there and the writing wasn't just as tight as it could have been. It wasn't as climactic as I thought it should be. You know, unlike the Dark Knight, that ending, that was something, you know. And there wasn't that kind of moral ambiguity, moral decisions anyone had to make. It's not that type of ending. I don't know. It was a long ending. It could have ended in one point, I thought, and that would have shaved off 10 minutes of the movie right there, but it just kept going, and then when it finally ended, I'm like, it's okay. And that's unfortunate, because like I said, I'd much rather leave a movie or TV show where, you know, if the beginning wasn't as good and the middle wasn't as good, the second act, at least the third act would tie it in and end it, you know, really well. So yeah, that's really important to me, and when I experience a movie, I kind of want to make sure it ends well, and unfortunately this did not. And then the other thing that was kind of a negative for me is the Batman and Catwoman. Their dynamic, their chemistry. If there was ever a chemistry that was meant to be, I didn't see it. I didn't really feel it. There were some moments where, there might be something there. And I know this is not that type of movie. I know this is not a romantic movie or anything like that. It's about the Batman. However, I thought that, if you're going to have the Catwoman in there as a romantic lead in a way, maybe, like I said, it wasn't called for in the script. To me, they were just like, they're just friends. Not even friends with benefits. They're just friends. I don't know. Maybe I think we were just expecting too much, in my opinion. And some people may see a chemistry, but for me, I didn't see it. And a couple more negatives, and this is really just kind of nitpicking, but it was still there and got a little bit annoying. There's a song that was played in this movie, and it's part of the Riddler's theme, I guess, or at least it's a way of showcasing that the Riddler is present. But this song, it's a popular song. I'm not going to say what it is because that's going to spoil it, but it was fine the first time. At first, I was kind of trying to figure out why this song was there, and okay, I kind of get it after watching the movie, but it kept repeating. And overall, the score is great. I love the score. The score by Michael Giacchino. I actually liked the score when I first even heard it, when they first revealed the Batman. I'm like, oh man, that better be in the movie. That better be his score. And sure enough, it is. Over the years, we have so many Batman themes. The Christopher Nolan one, to me, is still the best. I don't remember if Ben Affleck's Batman in BVS, if there was a score just for him. I want to say there was, but it certainly wasn't as memorable as this. I would say this is the second best Batman theme song. You can't still beat the Dark Knight score. In my opinion, I think that's still the best. And then my last nitpick is the suit. I like parts of the suit, and even, I said, maybe if I see it in motion, then I will love it. I still don't love it. I still think Ben Affleck's suit is the best. It's the most comic accurate, in my opinion. I get it. I do like the aspect that, okay, it's second year Batman, so yeah, the suit's not going to look like what we know in the comics. And hopefully it does evolve from there if they are going to make part 2 and part 3 of this series type deal. But hopefully it does evolve. I'm sure it will. But there's just some aspect of the suit that I didn't understand. Torso portion is what I like the best. The cape to me is still too short. I do like the neck covering. I think that makes sense for this type of Batman and this type of realism. Hopefully, again, I hope they still evolve it to be the Batman in the comics type look. Doesn't have to be exact. It's just I would like it to be more comic book looking without it being cosplay. I like parts of it. I like that he's doing some eye acting. The cowl kind of aided in that because of the dark around his eyes, and that makes sense that he does that. So I like that part of it. But overall, the cowl still could have been better. Again, I can forgive it. It's a nitpick because second year Batman, I get it. He's still evolving it. He will evolve it, I'm sure. I hope he does. But most likely they will. Okay, so bad out of the way. Now for the good though. The reason why you should watch this, and I still highly recommend this movie and make this decision yourself. Because yeah, it's not for everyone. Yeah, it's too long, but there are people who like it. There are people who don't think it's that long. So great, that could be you. But here's why I think you should watch this movie. The technical aspects. Gotham in this movie is a character. You can tell that it's Gotham. It's not like the Gotham of Tim Burton, but technical aspects, I like how Gotham was designed in this movie. It's not like an obvious city, even though this is supposed to be hyper-realistic. There are still some elements of comic book lore, comic book design in a way, comic book experience and atmosphere of Gotham. And yeah, it's dreary, it's dark, it's always raining, it's dirty, it's Gotham in my opinion. Yeah, like I can't believe people even live in this city. For the way it looks like, it seems so grimy and dirty and disgusting, and the people are the same way. And like I said, it's dark all the time, it rains all the time, so I'm like, damn, everyone must be really, really bored or really depressed in this city. So Gotham is great. The technical is great. The cinematography just adds to that. I like the color palette. Yeah, there's some times when it's just too dark, but it's Batman. It's meant to be dark. But the lighting, I think, was handled very well. The color palette, like I said earlier, the color grading, I love every minute of it. Very beautiful looking movie, and Gotham is great. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the score I think is second best Batman score, and that is a bravo to Michael, because I didn't think that anyone would even come close to The Dark Knight, and almost did surpass it. But just like I said, The Dark Knight just to me just has that beat, that uplifting, oh man, time to kick some butt. Whereas this one, yeah, it's more fear related, which is also great, and I'm glad that's that aspect of it. But overall, it still didn't beat The Dark Knight score, but I still loved it. And then, of course, Matt Reeves as the director, and he also wrote this, so it's a good script. There's some areas in the script I wish he would just trim out. Nevertheless, he wrote a really good script, and he directed his butt out of this. This is a good movie. I mean, like, I loved all his movies anyway, but this is kind of that type of movie where you can actually study it if you're a filmmaker. The scenes, how he composes it, how he shot it, angles he used, the pacing, again, like I said, there's some moments where I'm like, I'm trying to understand why he did that, why he had those dragging shots, and why did he make Batman move so slow in a way when he's not fighting. Hopefully he does a commentary on why he chose to do certain things. That way I can understand it better. Don't know if it will improve the movie for me, but at least I can understand where he's coming. The directing is still pretty good, even though, like I said, it kind of dragged. But he directed the heck out of this movie. Now for the characters, the acting. So the main bad guy, the Riddler, Paul Dano, man, I like how he shifts his tone in his voice. I started thinking though while I was listening to him, how he was talking, how he was enunciating, the stuff he says and do. Yeah, I get why the vibe. I get this is a different take on the Riddler, which I'm glad. I kind of thought the Riddler in the other movies and in the comics have been kind of goofy. So I like this take of the Zodiac type killer vibe that they went for. I mean, the whole atmosphere of this movie feels like Seven, like you're watching Seven, and it's to a point where, man, how cool would that be when that movie came out, that, you know, there's like after credits and Batman shows up because that's kind of what it feels like, you know. I mean, that movie Seven, they never really said the name of the city where they were at, so that adds to the intrigue, the mystery behind that movie. Obviously this is Gotham, so we know it's Gotham, but I just like the feeling of it. And like I said, Paul Dano acting his butt off in this movie, even though most of the time his face was covered. I wonder why they did that though. When they took it off, it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know why they kept it on, although I do like that. I think they tried to blend in the comic book hush, you know. Now I noticed, now that I think of it, you know, there's a lot of comic book adaptations that kind of put it all together into one movie, which I'm fine with, you know. They use that as inspiration, so I'm glad they did. You know, Long Halloween, definitely you'll hear that all the time. Hush, very temporarily, was there too, I noticed. And obviously Batman Year 1, in this case it's Year 2. So I like that they brought some elements from those great comic books and into this movie. Maybe that's why it's too long, but I still like that they used those elements and put it all in this movie. Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, she's alright. You know, I mean, honestly, Michelle Pfeiffer to me is still the best Catwoman. The way she acted, I don't, and it's not because of skin color. All right, it's not. This is not about wokeness or anything like that. Although there's some moments of it, some moments of identity politics, which it really didn't take me off the movie, but it was there. But that wasn't, thank God, it's not part of the movie. It's not the big deal of the movie. They didn't have some secret message. So I'm grateful for that. That would have really dropped this movie down, in my opinion, if that was there. But Zoe Kravitz, she did great for this type of Catwoman. But yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer, man, she's still the best. Yeah, I like Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah, but Zoe Kravitz, she did good. I like her in this movie. The damn mask though, I just wish they just redesigned that mask. I get the hyperrealism part of it, but if her whole bodysuit is leather, I mean, make the mask leather as well, not like this cloth thing. It's just like, oh, you know, I'll just gonna make this little mask and then put it on and then, blah, you know, I'm a cat murderer after all. So yeah, I get it, but still, it throws me off a little bit. Something about the masks in this movie, you know, could have been better. Although the Riddler's mask was pretty dope, but yeah, maybe that's why it's on all the time. But yeah, the mask could be better. But that doesn't take away from her performance. She did really well. And Catwoman is actually pretty good in this movie. It's just, yeah, could beat Michelle Pfeiffer though. Alfred in the movie wasn't here very much, although the scenes that he was in, really good. Andy Serkis did a phenomenal job. I like this Alfred. And this one seems like he was a warrior at one time, maybe a soldier. He was injured, and then there's a scene here where it actually, whoa, I thought that they're actually going to do that, but they didn't, so that's good. It's just, yeah, almost got me, worried there. He was a good Alfred, but yeah, you don't see him a lot, but the scenes that he was in, he's really good at. Now, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, cannot recognize him at all. Prosthetics were awesome. What they did to him, change him, perfect. And his voice, obviously, I think it matches the Penguin for this movie. I can tell in the eyes though, once I started staring, that's Colin Farrell. Nevertheless, he disappeared in this role. So as Colin Farrell, he's a great actor. So yeah, not a lot of him either, but the scenes he was in, yeah, he definitely almost stole the show for the bad guys. But he's a great actor, great in this movie as well. And then there were other, Jim Gordon was really good. Caroline Falcone. They're all good. They're supporting characters, but again, they're not really in forefront because this is not about them. It's about the Batman. And let's just get right to it. Robert Pattinson as the Batman. Okay, I'm going to do another video where I rank the best Batman. I think Robert Pattinson's Batman, he's up there. A lot of that's because of the voice. I think he nailed the voice. I think, man, it's definitely better than Bale's voice. I did not like that voice. Batfleck's voice, it's more modular, so I like that they went that route. But to me, I think this is the best voice. Yes, it's even better than Michael Keaton's Batman voice, which was, for me, the best Batman voice aside from Kevin Conroy. You can beat Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy is still the Batman for me. Voice, that is. But yes, Robert Pattinson did a great job as the Batman. He is menacing. He strikes fear in the hearts of men. Yeah, he's the Shadow. There's a monologue, huge monologue throughout the movie where, he's pretty much describing who he is. We know he's the Batman, but the way he was describing himself, the things he needs to do, how he has to do them, it's pretty cool. I like the writing. I like how they portrayed the Batman in this movie. Again, like I said, second year Batman, there were some moments where he was like, whoa, you can tell, he still need more finesse, need more practice on certain things. There was even a moment where he kind of like a little bit got jumpy when he was in the top of the building. And then this is in the trailer where he jumps out of it. He actually had a moment, whoa, it was like he almost fell kind of dealio. And he was like, okay, all right, that's cool. I like that because, he's still not that experienced. Unlike if you were a Batman for 20 years, yeah, height shouldn't be a problem. I mean, heights wasn't a problem for him in this movie. There's a lot of stuff where he jumped off buildings and did crazy stuff, but there are still moments where you can see that, oh, whoa, he's still not finessed. He's still not trained that well, for lack of a better term. And I like that. I like that whole aspect about this movie where he's still, even at the second year, he's still kind of brand new to the whole crime fighting thing. And what people, they couldn't make out what he's like, like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Cops, in the beginning really didn't like him. And then they slowly start to, kind of get used to him in a way. So I like that. That's actually, I think, a realistic take for someone like this, dressed as a bat, trying to be a vigilante. So it's not like unrealistic where everybody would just like him all of a sudden, So I'm glad they went that direction. There was great fight scenes. It's just not still as good as that warehouse scene in BVS, Batman v Superman. Now it's not fair because that's just the one scene that when he was fighting Superman, that was pretty good, but although that was really fast, it felt like 5 minutes, and it probably was. Again, can't really fault the movie for that. This is not a seasoned Batman. It's the second year. Although when he does punch, fight, you can feel it. You can feel his anger. You can feel that he's really punishing these guys to a point where you thought that he might kill. And I do like that part of his Batman. He's a no-guns Batman. He doesn't want to kill. He's, try to go the higher ground, the higher route, whereas other people don't give a crap. They want to kill left and right. Whereas Batman's trying to preserve life. So I do like that part of the Batman. Ben Affleck's Batman, I get that. part on why he's killing. But I know it's controversial and all that, but Batman has killed in the comics and the movies before, so I won't even go there. That's another video altogether. But I do like that this Batman, even at year 2, he is not a killer. I mean, damn, he can beat the heck out of people, though, to a point where they can get paralyzed and might as well drink from a straw, so they might as well be dead. But yeah, the gadgetry, the weapons that he used, I love them. The bottom half of his body, I don't think there's any body armor there. I think it's straight up slacks, because a lot of the scenes in his movies is, he has his backpack and he's riding his motorcycle, and then he would change into Batman. And I'm like, I guess all his gadgets and suit is in that small backpack, and somehow he's able to change into it. But, escape kind of deal, it's a comic book movie. And at the same time, it's not, it's definitely detective noir, as it was advertised to be, and it's a comic book movie, but it's also not. So I guess that's a good thing, because I don't want it to be too comic booky. I think that's the main thing I dislike about the MCU, even though I think a lot of the movies are really good. In the end of the day, it just feels so comic booky, and I'm not really into that anymore. I mean, it's been there, done that kind of deal. And I get comic book movies are the same way. It's been there, done that. But this Batman, you kind of expect it to be this way. I think if it'd be too comic booky, it'll be kind of like the Adam West type. That's way too goofy, way too not my time kind of deal. So there's a time and place for that, and they have their own fans. But I think this type of feel for Batman, I think they nailed it. But yeah, overall, it's a really good Batman. Robert Pattinson did a great job as Batman. It's weird because he's mostly Batman in this movie than he is Bruce Wayne. I guess that would be a flaw to me, and I get it. Again, this is the story. This is what's called for. This is the second-year Batman. In this one, he was more Batman still, even as Bruce Wayne. Whereas a seasoned Batman, the Batman that we know, there's like 3 personas. You got Batman, you have Bruce Wayne the Playboy, and then Bruce Wayne that's just Bruce Wayne with Alfred, by himself. So that's 3 personas, whereas this one is just Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Batman. And that's fine. It is the Batman. It's about the Batman. I get it. But if I were to nitpick and to criticize who my best Batman is, it's not Robert Pattinson's Batman, although he did a great job for this type of story and this type of Batman. But it's not my Batman. Overall, it's an average Batman movie in my opinion. It's not the best Batman. Now, as a movie, I think it's really good. It's above average as a movie. As a Batman movie, it's just average, but that's still good. I don't really give scores in my reviews, but if I were to give a score out of 10, I would say it's a 7. Kind of disappointing maybe a little bit for me, because I really want this to be a 10, and again, that might change tomorrow after I watch it the second time. Well, that's my review of the Batman. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and ring all notifications so you don't miss a thing. And until the next video, stay casual. Bye-bye.